afternoon, my dear brothers and sisters. Today is February the 14th, 2009. We are having our monthly mindfulness day. Today is a Valentine's Day, the day that people express their love to their loved one. Today is the day that people present their love gift. But as a practitioner, we present our love gift to our lovers by a day of practicing. Because when we're able to practice like this, we cultivate a lot of inner peace. And we offer to our loved one a very meaningful gift. And you are all a gift to me today. And excuse me for my flu. And I am not very well. And the voice, maybe you have to try very much to understand me. Today we also have some students from the university to join us during this Dhamma talk. You know that in Buddhism we have two main branches. We call Theravada and Mahayana. At the Buddha time, only one community of Sangha. But after many years of the passing of the Buddha, and the monks, the community of monks have two different ideas. One group, they say that we should keep the very traditional way at the same as the Buddha time. And one group, they think we should update. We should bring Buddhism engaged to the society. So what they call the engaged Buddhism. So that's why they divide into two groups. One go to north of India, one go to south of India, and one go to south. We call Southern Buddhism, and which is Theravada. Thera means senior. So those countries like Sri Lanka, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, they are Southern Buddhism. Another word, Theravada, very traditional way. And Mahayana, Maha means great, big. Yana means the vehicle. So this is the bigger vehicle that able to take more passengers. Because when we practice, we are not only to practice for ourselves, but during the time we practice, we will share what we understand, what we practice to others. We don't need to wait until we attain enlightenment, and then we will step out to life, to the society, to give a lecture. But what we understand on the practice, on the learning, we're willing to share. So the question is there any conflicts between the two branches? And the answer is no. Just the different outlook, different on the top, but the base, the foundation, you have to build the same. Either Mahayana or Theravada, they have to learn the same as the basic. For instance, we build a temple or we build a house or we build a big building. We all need to do the same, build a foundation, the concrete foundation. So we all learn the basic. Maybe different way to explain. So some people will say, oh, you are Hinayana, that means you small vehicle. We are Mahayana. That term doesn't mean that way. Hinayana or Mahayana, it only means small vehicle and big vehicle. And the purpose of the vehicle is to give people a ride. I have a small 4-door car. I take maximum 4 passengers, include a driver. You have a van. You can take 7 passengers with a driver. So the same, your purpose, your idea is to take people. So if you are driving a bigger vehicle, you can take more passengers. But do not underestimate any others. The same as last night we mentioned about medicines. There's no medicine that is the best. Anything that able to heal you, even though sometimes it's very cheap, but it's worth. And that medicine become the best. The best for who? The best for the right sickness, the right patient. So we, as a good pharmacist, we cannot say that this is the best and what are the rest. So if you say that, you cannot sell all the medicines. Everything is the best, but the best for who? That is why we call the Buddha is a great doctor, a great healer, because the Buddha can read the pulse, can look at our eyes like a doctor, hear your breath in order to know what's wrong and give you the right medicine. How many pills you need per day. Same medicine, but for the others, maybe less than. So do not mix up and misunderstanding about Mahayana and Theravada. Like us, we are Mahayana. Another word, now we should call engaged Buddhism. Same way of wearing the robe. But because we live in, the country that we need to go to work to survive the monk's life, the monastic life, we are not arming the food on the street like the Buddha's time. So we have to do our own planting, our own growing. Then we have to produce, we have to design some robe that able to be flexible, convenient when you are working for the community. So what is the sake of wearing your robe? To cover your body. But if you live in a country, cold country, you must wear warmer. If you live in the hot country, you can flexible with your clothes. Can you see what I mean? It depends on the country, the people, the situation where you at, in order to reduce or increase or decrease with your teaching, your learning, and your daily living. So we call 2 schools. And these 2 schools, they teach the same. But different way of explanation. And the basic, you learn the same. For instance, we used to wear yellow, brown, or gray. In Theravada, only one color, that is yellow. But what is the color of it? Like the earth, the color of the earth. We wear brown, it's the same color of the earth. Stand for the solid, the concrete, and the patient. Because as a monastic or as a practitioner, you should practice to accept anything that people offer you, like earth. If you pour down to earth clean water or dirty water earth still will take it. No discrimination. No refuse. People praising you or people blaming you, you learn like earth. You take them all and you transformation. You transform. You do not need to refuse anything. But if you are the intelligent practitioner, you will know what to do with people offer you. Like this morning when we do the chanting, we evoke Kristigava's name. We evoke your name, Kristigava. We learn to do the same as your aspiration. Solid stability. And everything must be grown on this piece of earth. So the color of the monks, like brown or yellow, it stands for the patient, to accept. And the gray color stands for the gentle, the light, the liberation. Because when you contain too much in your heart, then you will be heavy like the ash, fall down. But if you can let go, you can liberate a lot of things that not necessary to be contained in your mind, your heart. You will feel very light like the smoke, the color of the smoke. So burning the incense, beside the meaning that you offer the incense, the fragrance to the Buddha, but the incense also can stand for the fragrance of your morality, of your practice. And it also reminds you, I vow to be like the smoke, light and liberation. Many people, they talk about liberation. What does the word liberation mean? It means to exist from your attachment. They learn liberation in order to be free from their attachment. But actually, they attach to the word liberation. Anything people do, they can point out the mistake, the fault. This is not the liberation. This is not liberation. This is not freedom. They always want liberation. They always want to be freedom. But they suffer because of the word freedom. Oh, they suffer because of the word liberation. Last night I have a visitor, and she shared about her family members, her friends, her colleagues, who talk a lot about freedom and liberation, but actually they suffer because of that word so much. You follow the Buddha's teaching, you name yourself a Buddhist. That means the one who learn, who practice the Buddha's teaching. And what is the purpose of learning and practice? To be free from your attachment. To make yourself happier each day. But in some way, the more you learn, the more you practice, the more you suffer because of what you learn, what you practice. And you are not the Buddhist anymore. But you will have a very beautiful sign in front. I am a real Buddhist. You're willing to fight with others on behalf of the Buddha. But that is not the way. If you are the real Buddhist, you will not attach to what people say if you think that is not correct. They have the right to offer you anything they want, but you have the right to accept but you also take it or not into your body, your mind, it depends on you. Many wars that happen in our world because of what? Because of the pride. Because of our proud. Because of what we call the saints, the holy. And we will die for that holy. We will die for that saint. And we think we are the real hero. And we think when we do that, we will be reunited with our holy. But that is right or wrong. We can reflect on that. We don't mean to point out the right or the wrong. But as a person who learning and practice, we have the wisdom, the light inside of us to shine out. Mindfulness helps us to see clearly what to do in daily. Another word, meditation. Meditation doesn't mean you sit on the cushion only. Meditation doesn't mean when you close your eyes, look like you are meditation on some topic. But if you're wise enough to apply the word meditation into daily life, and you can see that meditation can be done in every single activity. When you come to the temple, very crowded, but inside of you, you have joy, you have peace. You are meditation. You are meditator. So that's why one day the student come to visit the Zen master, and he want to test his student. He say, where you come from? Master, I come from Toronto. Oh, I heard Toronto very crowded, right? He say, Master, but my own country is at peace. What is the answer? Yes, Toronto is crowded, but in me I have peace and joy. That's why he say, Toronto is crowded, but my own country is peace. What is your own country? Your own country of heart, of mind. That is how Zen master and Zen students answer and question each other. When we hear, we don't know what are they talking about. Why is that? Because we have so many ideas of thinking something else. But something right in front of us, we totally forgot. It's like the Buddha lift up the lotus and smile. Thousands of monks, the audience, wonder why the Buddha smiled at the lotus. Something happened? Only one person smiled back to the Buddha. That is Mahakassapa, the eldest student of the Buddha. He smiled with the Buddha. And that's become a very famous kunan in Zen. What does that mean? When the Buddha see the lotus beautifully, the Buddha smile. That's all. Nothing else. And the Mahakassapa see the Buddha smile, he also smile. What else? But we never want to stop there. We think we're very intelligent. We have a lot of understanding about Zen, a lot of teaching. We wonder our mind with what is the significance of smiling at the lotus? No significance. Beautiful flower, enjoy. So some people come and say, Master, how long have you been as a monk? Instead say, 20 years, 30 years. Master say, I live for the day, I just know for the day. I still alive today, I know this day only. I forgot about last autumn, last winter, last spring. That's how Zen Master live. But sometimes the more we learn, the more we think, we know a lot. You should express a lot of ways. But sometimes that's not a good idea. So people come and ask, Master, can you show me the way to practice? Drink your tea. Drink your tea become a very famous quotation in temples, in the monastery. Drink your tea. Because many times you drink your tea, but you are not there for the tea. You drink with your wandering mind. But if you're able to drink the tea with your mindfulness, with your awareness, with your enjoy, that's the practice. If you cannot see that miracle, what else and where and when? So, the sound of the bell is like the voice of the Buddha. Awake us. Sometimes you read in the Zen story, you see the student come and ask the master about Zen. Instead of answer, he used a stick and hit that student. But right in the time he hit that student, the student awakes. Don't run away from the present moment. Don't ask me a lot of questions that not necessarily related to your practice. So a lot of ways to train the students. But the more you learn, the more you have to see that you're still silly. The more we learn, the more we feel that I'm still silly. I need to learn more. The more you practice, the more you have to no expectation. Because when you expect, you suffer. Like this morning when we're practicing mindful walking, I say, don't worry about the destination. You're here for the day, so just walk. Why you need to worry when to be done? Because anyway, we still have a day to go. So when we walk, just walk. When we have time to eat, just eat. Be there. When we see each other, the beautiful way is to join our hands together and bow to each other. So the bowing stands for the respect. You are the Buddha to me. And that person will bow you back. You are the Buddha to me. When you enter the hall, before you sit down, you bow to the cushion. That means you gratitude the one who set up the cushions for you, who come here earlier to set up the hall and get ready for us to sit down. So if we see deeply, if we reflect deeply, we will realize that in daily life there are a lot of things for us to be gratitude with. The one who create the car, the vehicles, the one who fixed the road, the one who plant, the vegetables, everything. We owe so much from others. So we have to live in such a way to be worth. So we can offer a truly gift to those people. If you say, oh Thay, we love Thay so much. Because even though he is sick, he still be with us for the day. But that's not good enough. Yes, you have the right to express your love that way. To show your love is your practice. To show your gratitude is your practice. In about a few hundred years ago in Vietnam, there was a young man who attended university. And one day, he attended to temple, and after burning the incense to the Buddha, bowing the Buddha, and he take a walk around the garden. And suddenly, he met a beautiful lady who quickly passed by him, and he tried to chase the lady, but the lady walked so fast, he cannot find that lady. But since that moment, he fell in love with the beauty of that lady. And one night, he dreamt a hermitage. An angel came and tell him, tomorrow you go to the east market, the east way, the east side. Go to the market. You will meet the one you are thinking for many days. You will see, you meet the one you love. After a long day hanging around the market, he didn't see anyone. He almost gave up and want to walk back home. And finally, suddenly, he went into the bookshop. He saw the beautiful picture, the portrait of a lady hanging on the wall. Exactly the lady he met at the temple a few days ago. So happy, he bought that portrait. And he hung that portrait in his room. And since that day, he lived like two persons. Every day, when he finished cooking, instead of making one bowl for him, he make two bowls. He put on the table and pretend that lady is eating with him. He look at the picture, say, beauty lady, beauty lover, have lunch with me, have dinner with me. And you know that as a university student at that time, very lazy to cook. You know what he have? Instant noodle, pizza pop. He have lots of fast food in his fridge. He lazy to cook. Mushroom soup in a can. One day, he went to school. When he come back, his house is clean. Can you imagine a single man live, a single student in his dorm? How messy. But one day when he come back, everything in his house nice and neat, beautiful. He wonder, who did that job? Who did the wonderful job? Who cleaned up my room, my house? Second day, the same. Third day, the same. But more than that, Every time when he come back, another bowl is a bowl of noodle already cooked and leave on the table for him. But this time, not instant noodle. Spaghetti. Sometimes she changed the menu. Deep fried tofu with rice, with vegetables. One day, he pretended that he go to school. But he silently go back to the house and hiding at the back of the door to see who came into my room, my house, and do the cleaning. Very miracle. He saw that lady step out from that pork tray. Step out of that pork tray and do all the work. And he stepped out. He said, I caught you. And since that moment, she lose all her power to come back to the pork tray. Now she have to appear as a real person. And he expressed his love to this lady. And this lady also expressed her love to him. And they both become girlfriend and boyfriend. And later they become husband and wife. We don't know her name. But in Vietnamese we call her Giáng Kiều. Kiều means beautiful lady. Giáng means step out from the pork tray. Step out of the picture. So when we say Giáng Kiều, it stands for a person who is beautifully and enter your life. And this man, his name is Tu Uyên. But now we can temporarily call Stephen or David or Eric or Daryl. Since they become husband and wife, they live very happy together. But not too long later, all the negative habit in this man continue to explode. He drink, gambling, smoking, and never be home for her. And every time after he drunk, he come back home, and if she says something to correct him, he willing to fight, to hit her, to punch her. And this kind of happened many, many days. One day she cannot stand anymore. He said a lot of things that make her suffer, broken heart. Even though she tried her best to connect the communication, to bring him back on the right path. But she totally give up because too tired, too much work. One day he left to drink. She wrote him a letter and she left home. She said, David, whenever you feel that you miss me, whenever you think that you're willing to change, I will come back. All you need to do is burn up the incense. And if I can recognize the fragrance of your sincerity, I will come back. And they did. After he drank and he read the letter, she said everything since she came to live with him. Because the time that you suffer the most, you have a lot of things to tell your lover. Then that is the time you can write down everything in your mind. Sometimes you cannot speak directly. Why? Maybe that person doesn't have the stability to listen to you. And maybe because of your emotional, you just cry and you cannot speak clearly what you want. And sometimes you forgot the idea or the things that you think about. So that's why it's very good to write down on a piece of paper. You don't have to finish the letter in one day. You can write this letter in many days that you need. And when you write down, you have the chance to reflect what you write. And when that person read, you can give them a really deep touching. After back home, he read the letter, a long letter from Angelina. One day he totally missed her. He willing to change, to correct himself. He burned the incense wholeheartedly to wish her angel to come back, his angel to come back. And she came back. And they live happy together. And that is the story from Vietnam. Well, after I read the story, we can figure out some of the teaching in the story. Each of us, we are like an angel to step into the other person's life. Right? You are the angel of someone, and someone also the angel of you. We step into the lives of other, miracle. We never meet, we never know each other, but very miracle, we met. You never think today you will sit in the Buddhist practice center to meet a Vietnamese monk. You never imagined that, right? So Thay is an angel step into your life. And I also cannot imagine. Today I have the opportunity to sit in front of you and share with you my practice, my learning. Is that miracle? You step into my life, miracle. You are my angel. But remember, do we learn the art to keep our angel or not? There are many miracle things that come to our life without our expectation, but it appears miracle. But because we don't know how to valuable that, that's why we let that kind of thing, that kind of person slowly depart from us. Do you see the story? Do you see the deep meaning of the story? Many people in surround us. They have been beautiful angels for us already. Many times we fall down. They try to lift us up. But how many times we appreciate their work? Many times we cry. They're willing to sit there and listen to our cries. But what do we do after? Did we know how to keep them with us? Or we did something to make them feel distaste about us? They cannot say anything about us and they give up. And now they just say, you do whatever you want. I have to leave you. And that is the big question for us. Did I learn how to keep my lover? Did I know how to support and nourish my lover? Did I know how to make my lover smile? Do I know how to make my lover laugh? Or I just make them cry and suffer because of me? Many times we wait until that person totally left, then we feel guilty. But how many chances we can bring that person back? Very rarely. So the story will give us a lecture. You have someone enter your life miraculously. Then you have to learn how to keep that person with you. By avoiding your negative behavior, the way you speak, the way you behave, the way you react, the way you look, the way you love. Sometimes your way of love also make that person suffer. Because you don't know how to love. You think the way you love is correct. But actually, it doesn't fit for that person. Your lover doesn't have any space to breathe because of your love. They feel that you put them, you imprison them. You prison them in the cage of love. They're like a bird. You feed the bird every day, you play with the bird, but the bird cannot go anywhere other than in your cage. And you just hold the cage and talk to the bird. Look like you really enjoy the bird, but the bird have no freedom. Many times we unfreedom our lover that way. Unless you light up the incense of what? The incense of mindfulness trainings. The incense of concentration. The incense of insight. Because the incense of meditation, of concentration, of the insight will light up all the darkness in you. That is the reason why we light up the candle in the new year. You need to light up 7 days a week. We only have 7 days a week. After finish 7 days, you continue another 7 days. So that's why the continuation of the lights. We celebrate Valentine's Day. It's not only the celebration of giving a flower, a rose, some candy, chocolate, or express few words. Love is action. Love in action. So the Buddha loved the living beings. The Buddha loved us. So he showed his love. He willing to give up his throne, his luxury life, and accept a very simple life, a life of a monastic. So we respect the Buddha. Just because the Buddha did something we're unable to do. We don't have like the Buddha, but we attach so much. The Buddha has more than us, but he willing to detach. We have nothing, but we attach so much. Our house, our car, our material life, we are afraid to lose. And because we're afraid to lose, that's why we do a lot of things to protect. And sometimes with our mindfulness, we protect in the wrong way. We protect in the wrong way. And the wrong way leads us to the wrong conclusion, the wrong result. The family being broken because we don't know how to protect the family. We don't know how to protect that person. That's why we make our angel leave us. So based on this story, we can learn a lecture from Stephen. Don't be like Stephen. Because each of us is an angel. Do not say that I am helpless. You can do anything you want. When you want to do it, you can do it right away. It's like when you want that angel appear in your life again, you need to light up the incense. But remember, the sincerely incense. That means come from your heart. And that is another gift that I want to present to you today. During this Valentine's Day. Learn the story and reflect about the story. If you already make your lover, your angel depart from you, you have to learn another way to bring that person back. Bring back. Sometimes that person totally depart, but now that person embody in another way. So you have to see that your angel is around you all the time. You know how to invite them or not. I have a lot of angels in my life. When they know that I'm sick, they give me a bottle of pills. They are my angel. I have a Cambodian lady. Maybe you met her downstairs sometimes too. She doesn't speak English much. She doesn't speak Vietnamese. We don't speak Cambodian. But we have a good communication. Now she can understand them, us all. And we also can understand her. Body language. But every time when I sit down to eat, 2 minutes later, she bring me a glass of hot water. No matter how busy she was. But she pay attention to me whenever Thay come down for supper or for lunch. And the only thing she like to do is offer Thay a glass of hot water. So she is like my angel. She appeared from a portrait. I don't know where she was. But soon I sit down and eat, she appeared with a glass of hot water. Do you see that? Your Friday is like your angel too. After 4 days of 5 days of working, here Friday come. The meditation hour appear miraculously. When I sit in the center and I realize each of your steps come into the meditation hall, the happiness start to increase in me. 1 person come, 2 person come, 30 people come. It nourishes me. I sit there with all your vitamins because each of you is like a vitamin. We come together as a multivitamin. So that's why in this afternoon, in this lunchtime, I say, eat in such a way that we can offer the joy, the happiness to each other. Why don't we enjoy the food in front of us and the Sangha surrounding us? Where else we want to go? What else we want to do now? Sitting together is happy enough. Eating together is happy enough. Be together is good enough. So that's why in the Zen, in our tradition, we have the term called being. Being means we sit together. Sometimes no talk, just be there for each other. Sometimes Zen, they don't speak much. They just drink tea, sit and enjoy the moon, the atmosphere, the quiet time together. Understanding each other doesn't mean you have to talk a lot. But you have to communicate deeply from mind to mind. That's why the Buddha did not say anything. He just lifted up the flower and smiled. That means, whole audience, do you see this beautiful flower? I smile at this beautiful flower. But instead of saying that, all the Buddha said, keep quiet, lift up the flower and smile. Mahakassapa, get to that point. Nothing else. Beautiful flower, smile. That's it, period. So in the Zen monastery, sometimes they write the word, this is it. Become a quotation, become a kunat. This is it. The kingdom is here, period. You turn around, you see, or never, period. The kingdom of God is here or never. So the land of happiness is they're able to sit together, listen to Dhamma talk, eat things together, and then practicing walking meditation. That is the Pearl Land. Any question? Especially the student from university. How many angels we have today? Now it's free, no charge. But you expect Thầy to work overtime, will be charged. So before they have some question, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you who have appeared to my life miraculously. And you have done a lot of supporting into my practice. And this is the day that we express our love, but not only in the romantic love. The love between the teacher and the practitioner, between brother and sister, between the brotherhood and sisterhood. I hope that you all will enjoy your long weekend. Is this week? We have a long weekend. On February the 16th, we have Family Day, right? Is that a family day? Yeah. So I hope that you have a beautiful family day. Very warm and a lot of happiness. Thank you for your listening to my unwell voice. One of the questions asked by the student of the university, what is the meaning of the wooden fish on the cushion? That means the wooden gong that we use. The wooden fish, that is the instrument to use, to play during the chanting time, to keep the community to chant in harmony. It's like a music, it's like an instrument during the chanting time. And why we decorate a fish on that piece of wood? Because even when the fish sleeping, the fish also don't close their eyes. The fish never close their eyes. Stand for a practitioner always awake. No matter in what reason, you always awake. Do you understand the meaning? The fish stand for awakening, open their eyes. And the purpose of that piece of wood is to lead the community to chant in harmony. And you know the moderation of beating the wooden fish stand for the meaning of as a practitioner we always keep up, go move on and keep up. You harmony, but you move on and keep your good effort. The second question that they have is, are the roles of man and woman different within Buddhism? Do the woman and the man meditate and chant together? Yes. Usually the lay practitioner, men and women, they come to the practice center together. But if they are the monastics, usually we have 2 different temples. One for monks and one for nuns. But because in our situation we do not have the capacity to create 2 monasteries. First, we don't have the financial. Secondly, we don't have enough monastics. So therefore, in our monastery we have both monks and nuns. But actually, we have to live in a nunnery or a monk residence. But because we don't have enough conditions to establish something like that, so temporary we stay together. But of course in the different area. But that is talking about the accommodate, like living. But how about the practice? All the same. The monks can lead the ceremony, can give the lecture, can be the abbot of a monastery. The nun can do the same. They can be the abbess of a monastery. They can create their own temple. They can give lecture. They can do exactly the same as the monks did. Yeah. Why don't you eat meat or animal products? We do not eat meat because with our love, with our compassionate, and you will see that some other traditions, they do eat meat, but they don't expect any kind of food you offer. But with us, we strictly vegetarian. But we are not like, but we do drink milk, cheese, any way that you don't kill the animal. But if the animal able to produce something for your health, but the animal doesn't have to be died, then it's possible. The alcohol we don't drink because we'll get drunk, lose the consciousness you're controlling. As a practitioner, anything that you are addicted, that is not the practice. Not only for alcohol, also for smoking, anything that makes you addicted, you cannot live without it. It's not no good. Because as a person, you have to learn how to be free. Why? You leave your wife, your husband, you don't want that, you can depart from that, your family, everything, but why you're addicted to small things like drinking, smoking, tea. We drink tea, but you don't addicted to tea. When no more tea, you can drink water easily. So anything is not a sin, okay? It's not a sin, but it's a problem. The problem is you cannot liberate yourself from those small things. And anything that controls you, you have no freedom. And we used to talk about liberation of freedom. But can you free from tea, from coffee, or from Tim Horton, from Starbucks? Or every morning you have to have it. You know? So as a practitioner, anything people offer, if it's possible to take it, you just take. But when one day they don't have it, it's fine. Don't try to make yourself, to become a habit of something, especially in the eating, drinking, and consuming. So that's why the third one is what? May we learn to eat with moderation. So now we will take a 10 minutes break, and we'll come back here for the Dhamma discussion. If you want, you can bring your own teacup. You take some tea and bring your own here. Okay? Thank you.